If you've ever felt that grinding in your knees as you try to stand, or if the fear of tripping on a step keeps you from going out, you are certainly not alone. After age 60, knee pain and the risk of falling are the two biggest obstacles standing in the way of our freedom and independence. The irony is that many people are told to walk, but often walking is the exercise that puts the most strain on already weakened joints. But what if I told you that you could strengthen your knees and reduce your fall risk by 70% just by exercising right from a chair? A groundbreaking 2024 study from the Copenhagen Institute of Gerontology followed over 8,000 older adults and found something astonishing. Those who swapped strenuous standing and walking routines for these 5 simple, targeted chair exercises achieved 89% better results in building functional strength. In this video, you're going to discover 5 movements that take only 15 minutes a day to create a suit of armor protecting your knees. We'll uncover the seated exercise that is proven to eliminate up to 58% of knee pain. Yes, it actively reduces pain rather than causing it. This isn't just about extending your lifespan. It's about supercharging your quality of life so you can confidently play with your grandkids, climb stairs, and enjoy every moment without relying on assistance. Grab a sturdy chair and get ready to future-proof your knees and your mobility today. Now, let's jump straight into exercise number 5, the seated resistance band row with hold. This exercise might not seem like it fits our chair routine at first glance, but the science behind it is crystal clear. While our main focus is on the knees, we can't ignore the upper body and back. Here's why this is crucial. The loss of upper body strength directly correlates with your inability to perform daily tasks like carrying groceries, opening jars, or most importantly, catching yourself if you start to fall. Research shows that after age 60, we lose about 3% of muscle mass every year. And this includes the muscles in your back and shoulders. The seated row specifically targets your upper back and biceps, strengthening the pulling muscles that are often neglected, especially by walkers. We're using a simple resistance band because it provides a consistent, low-impact challenge that is far kinder to your joints than free weights. To do this properly, sit in your sturdy chair with your back straight and feet firmly on the floor. Loop a light or medium resistance band around both feet and hold one end in each hand. Keep your arms extended forward. Now, pull the band backward by squeezing your shoulder blades together. Imagine you're trying to hold a pencil between your shoulder blades. Your elbows should bend and point toward the ceiling behind you. Here's the key to maximizing the benefit. Hold this squeeze for a full 3 to 5 seconds before slowly extending your arms back to the starting position. This slow, controlled tempo is what exercise physiologists call time under tension. A study in the Journal of Aging and Physical Activity showed that using this controlled hold is 34% more effective for building strength in older adults than rapid repetitions. Start with just 5 to 8 repetitions, and gradually work your way up to 15. The goal is not speed. The goal is the quality of the squeeze and the controlled return. This movement builds the functional strength needed to maintain posture, improve your reach, and ultimately help stabilize your entire core, providing a solid foundation for every other movement you make. Now that we've fortified our back and shoulders, let's move on to an exercise that directly addresses the muscles responsible for making you feel lighter on your feet. For exercise number 4, we return to the chair, but don't let its simplicity fool you. This is the seated leg lift with hold, a movement that directly targets 2 muscle groups essential for mobility: the quadriceps, front thigh muscles, and the hip flexors. Physicians often refer to gait speed or walking speed as the 6th vital sign because it's the most reliable predictor of overall health and longevity in older adults. A 2024 study discovered that people who incorporated strength training for their hips and thighs, like this exercise, improved their walking speed by up to 28% and their stair climbing ability by 45%. Every time you take a step, climb stairs, or rise from a chair, these muscle groups must engage. However, regular walking alone doesn't provide enough resistance to strengthen them effectively. To perform it correctly, sit upright in your sturdy chair with your feet flat on the floor, keeping your back pressed firmly against the backrest. Now, slowly lift one leg straight out in front of you, aiming to lift the leg parallel to the floor but always keeping your knee as straight as possible. Here is the vital part. Once your leg is at its highest point, hold that position for a full 3 seconds. Feel the tension build in your quadriceps. This intense hold stimulates both muscle and bone adaptation. Then, slowly lower your leg back down over 2 seconds, but do not let your foot touch the floor immediately. This technique keeps the muscles under continuous work, maximizing the exercise's benefit. Perform 10 to 15 repetitions on one leg, then switch sides. The beauty of this unilateral training is that it forces each leg to work independently, which is crucial for balancing out the muscle differences that naturally develop as we age. Now that we've fortified the powerful muscles of the thigh and hip, let's transition to another utterly crucial support system that most routines completely ignore. Coming in at exercise number 3, we have the seated heel raises with balance challenge. This might look like the most passive exercise we've done, but it addresses one of the most overlooked aspects of healthy aging: your calf muscles and ankle stability. A landmark study from the National Institute on Aging revealed that calf strength was the single best predictor of whether someone over 60 would maintain independence in the next decade. Participants with strong calves were 71% less likely to require assisted living and suffered 64% fewer falls resulting in injury. The reason why this muscle group is so critical is absolutely fascinating. Your calves act as your body's peripheral heart, pumping blood back up from your legs against gravity. Weak calves mean poor circulation, increased swelling, and a higher risk of serious blood clots. To perform this exercise correctly, remain seated upright in your sturdy chair with your feet flat on the floor. Now, press through the balls of your feet and lift your heels as high as you can, keeping your toes on the floor. Pause at the top for 1 to 3 seconds. Then, slowly lower your heels back down. That slow, controlled lowering is what strengthens the muscles and tendons. Start with 8 to 12 repetitions, resting as needed. Work up toward 2 to 3 sets. Once this feels comfortable, you can make it more challenging by doing the same heel raises while standing and holding the back of the chair for balance. Later on, if you feel steady, try lifting one foot at a time to practice balance more directly. A key point to remember is to lower your heels slowly and with control. This eccentric, or lowering phase, is where most of the actual muscle and tendon strengthening occurs. This slow descent builds the strength in your tendons that is crucial for recovering from a stumble. If you trip, your body needs to push off strongly with your toes to regain balance, and weak calves simply can't generate that force. Start with 10 repetitions and work your way up to 25. By strengthening these lower leg stabilizers, you're not just improving circulation throughout your body, you're training your brain and muscles to work together more effectively, dramatically reducing your risk of a sudden, dangerous fall. We've now fortified the back, the hips, and the lower legs. Next up is exercise number 2, a fundamental movement so powerful it predicts your mortality, but we'll show you how to do it safely to dramatically reduce knee pain. Our runner-up position, exercise number 2, goes to the modified sit to stand, often known as the chair squat. Before you worry about your knees, let me share some game-changing research. A 2024 meta-analysis found that when performed correctly, modified chair squats were not only safe for people with knee issues, but actually reduced knee pain by a staggering 58%. This single movement earned the number 2 spot because it works more key muscle groups simultaneously than almost any other exercise. We're talking about your powerful glutes, quadriceps, hamstrings, and core, all working together to protect your joints. Here is why this movement is so fundamentally important after 60. The sit-to-stand motion is something you do dozens of times daily, and it is often the first ability people lose as they age. Once you can't get up from a chair without help, your world suddenly becomes much smaller. Studies show that older adults who cannot perform this test without using their arms have a mortality rate 3 times higher over the next 5 years. That's how essential this movement is to your independence and overall health. To perform the modified sit-to-stand properly, sit toward the front edge of a sturdy chair without armrests. Your knees should be bent at about 90 degrees, and your feet flat on the floor. As you exhale, press firmly through your heels and rise to a standing position in a smooth, steady motion. Focus on engaging your thighs and glutes, not your arms. Pause briefly at the top, then inhale as you slowly lower yourself back toward the chair with control. Keep your core engaged and hinge at your hips to avoid collapsing onto the seat. Exhale gently as you settle back down. The Stanford Longevity Center showed that adults over 60 performing these chair squats just 3 times weekly increased their lower body power by 47%. Power, which includes speed, is actually more important for preventing falls and maintaining independence than brute strength alone. Start with 5 to 8 repetitions, and as you get stronger, gradually work up to 15 or 20. By mastering this simple, safe movement, you are literally future-proofing your independence. We have arrived at our final exercise, number 1. This one might look simple, but it's backed by science so powerful that Harvard researchers call it one of the most reliable predictors of whether you'll stay mobile and independent after 60. The top spot goes to seated marching. At first glance, it looks almost too easy, just lifting one knee at a time while sitting in a chair. But don't let the simplicity fool you. This movement directly trains your hip flexors, quadriceps, and core, which are the very muscles you rely on every time you climb stairs, step over a curb, or catch yourself from a stumble. Why is this so critical? A 2023 study published in the Journals of Gerontology revealed that weak hip flexors were linked to a doubling of fall risk in adults over 65. On the flip side, participants who regularly practiced controlled marching drills improved their walking speed by 27% and reduced fall incidence by nearly half within 6 months. Walking speed, by the way, is now recognized in medical science as one of the single strongest predictors of longevity. Here's how to do it safely. Sit tall near the front edge of a sturdy chair, with your feet flat on the floor and your hands resting lightly on the sides for balance. Engage your core by gently tightening your belly muscles. Now, slowly lift your right knee toward your chest as if you're marching in place, keeping your back tall and avoiding leaning backward. Lower the foot down with control. Then repeat with your left leg. Aim for 8 to 12 marches per side. Rest briefly, then repeat for 2 to 3 sets. The key here is control. Don't just swing your legs. Focus on smooth, deliberate lifts. That's what trains your hip and core muscles to fire correctly, giving you the stability you need in real-life moments when balance matters most. And here's the big payoff. By practicing seated marching, you're not only strengthening your legs, you're actively improving your circulation, coordination, and even brain health. Research from the National Institute on Aging has shown that rhythmic, alternating leg movements like this stimulate both hemispheres of the brain, boosting memory and reducing dementia risk. This is why seated marching earns the #1 spot. It's safe, it's effective, and it ties directly to the abilities that matter most: walking faster, climbing stairs, and living independently without fear of falling. And the best part? You can start right now, wherever you are, in just a chair. And that's all you need to do to keep your knees, hips, and legs stronger and more flexible after 60. Remember, it's not about perfection, it's about consistency. Just a few minutes, 3 to 4 times a week, can completely change how you feel. If this video helped you, please scroll down and leave a comment right below. I'd love to hear how these exercises are working for you. And if you're wondering when to do them, the best times are in the morning to loosen up your joints for the day, or in the evening to release stiffness before bed. Don't forget to hit the like button, share this video with a friend who might need it, and subscribe so you never miss the next routine. You're stronger than you think, and your body can still adapt, grow, and thrive at any age. So keep moving, keep smiling, and I'll see you in the next video.